Hello, everybody. Double Shine here with some less than stellar news. This morning, I saw that basically there's been a post suggesting that Project Zanaris has been paused indefinitely. Now, I want to be clear that this is just a community post that I saw going over basically a Google search that brought this up. And I think that this came from the source code. So it was not like an official announcement. But from kind of the looks of it, there's a little bit of this like worry right now that Project Zanaris is canceled or essentially being paused for the time being. Now, if you don't know what Project Zanaris is, it is sanctioned, official, community, private servers that Jagex is essentially letting you run, along with a whole bunch of different parameters and a bunch of different sliders that you can adjust to create a very kind of customized experience. For example, you would be able to enable infinite run energy. You could have certain sliders that would change the experience and drop rates. So if you wanted to get like 10 times experience rates, you could do that. And they've also, probably most interesting for me, is they've also announced that you'll be able to bring in leagues, relics, and play around with those as well in these, community servers. Now, this will still require a subscription, and I think if you're actually like hosting a server, there's also like a cost associated to it. But the really cool part was that you would actually be allowed to play on the main worlds at the same time, and then also be playing community server you wanted to. So you could kind of have fun doing whatever while still playing your main character. It's not like a choose one or the other. And for me, this was really exciting because this is really the direction I kind of wanted to take my content and my channel in the future years, as well as just what I do as somebody who plays old school RuneScape. Is I did want to invest more into Project Zanaris and essentially kind of recreate a league's experience for the entirety of the year. Kind of similar to how Deadman mode has a permanent Deadman mode world. Leagues doesn't have anything like that. So for me, having kind of year-round leagues that last a couple months and then change up some of the parameters, change up some of the stuff to kind of offer a seasonal mode experience, similar to games like Path of Exile or Diablo, which every couple of months, people come in with a new fresh season, some new elements, new content that's, basically being trickled in from the main game. And yeah, I don't know if that's going to be possible anymore because it seems like this project's being put on hold. So this makes me a little bit worried that this is an announcement that has been kind of in the works for a bit, and yeah, there's just no official information about this at the moment. I just think that me, as along with tons of other people who have been looking forward to this mode, are incredibly worried if this is actually the case. I haven't really been talking too much about leagues since the last leagues. And I haven't really been covering too much news on Project Zanaris, mainly because I've been waiting to see stuff from the playtest that was supposed to be happening this month, I believe. And this might sound a little egotistical of me, but I did kind of hope that I would, get invited to that. And I haven't. And I don't know anything about the playtest or where that's been. But I really hope there's at least an official announcement as to what this means and if this is real or not, because personally, this is just a really sad thing to see. I think the reality is that Old School RuneScape is a really great game, but the player base just is not interested in spending hundreds of hours for how grindy the main game is. And I think that having the Project Zanaris, having those official private servers that would allow you to change the parameters to create a more streamlined experience, or to just customize the game in a way that you find fun without having to cater to such a large, different player base that plays the game in such a different way. I think a great example of that is, there is a lot of people who play Iron Man versus a lot of people who play mains. And if you are somebody who plays Iron Man or Ultimate Iron Man, I think it feels really bad that every single time you ask for a change, people basically just tell you like, nope, you asked for this, deal with it, de-iron. And this doesn't really help anybody. It's really just like a stupid way of shutting down any kind of conversation. Servers like this, where there are ways of changing the rules in a way that makes the game fun for a select group of people would be a much better way as opposed to trying to, create the main game that's just kind of designed to cater to everybody. Just recently, Yama got added, which is a phenomenal boss, and I've had so much fun doing it. But I mean, within 48 hours, the uniques were nerfed by 30% because of how efficient high end PVM players had pushed the limits of the boss. And I mean, like, do I think that the drop rates were pretty good? Yeah, obviously. But I think for anybody who's, just playing old school RuneScape for fun, seeing a grind get nerfed to like 75 hours is still an insane amount of time for like one set of armor. If you compare this to, for example, classic WoW, leveling a character from 1 to 60 is somewhere between like 100 to 20, 100 to 50 hours, somewhere in that range, depending on how efficient you are. So for one set of armor from one boss to take half that time is kind of it's kind of insane if you think about it. And I think that does put a lot of people off from old school RuneScape because, quite frankly, they're just not interested in that many hours of grind. That's not the fun part of old school RuneScape for them. And it's never really been the fun part of old school RuneScape for me either. I don't take value in hundreds of hours invested on some main game achievement. In addition, a lot of the early, like mid game updates that have been released do dramatically change your account progression. And that's also why I enjoy making new characters, why I enjoy leagues so much, because going through that early mid game progression with all the new updates, with all the new changes, is incredibly rewarding and fun. And I really hope that they do not scrap this. And I hope that they keep working in this direction because, I would absolutely love to kind of keep going with the project. And I've been really, really looking forward to it. And if you are somebody who enjoys really long grinds, first off, the main game isn't going anywhere, but also, you can just make the game even more grindy. You can make every grind take 10 times as long if you want. And if that's what gives you satisfaction, then of course, you should play the game in a way that you find fun. I don't want to go on for too long until there is some official announcement, which is really the point of this video, is to try to get more conversation around this topic, to get other people aware of this, because I would like to have an official announcement on this as soon as possible. And of course, I will be covering all of the Project Zanaris news as well as upcoming leagues news as we get more of those. If you're curious, there is probably not going to be an old school RuneScape leagues this year, just looking at the schedule that they announced at RuneFest. However, there will be a RuneScape 3 leagues coming in just a few months. So I'll probably be covering that. I don't know how extensively. I might reach out to some RuneScape 3 content creators just to sort of get their feedback and their opinions on it, just because I don't play RuneScape 3 as much. So I don't want to just completely throw random ideas at you, and that way you can have a little bit of knowledge about what's happening and what you should consider. But yeah, that's kind of where things are at, and I hope we hear something soon. I remember being around when Nostalrius was canceled for Classic WoW and how hard the community fought for that, and I'm ready to fight for Project Zanaris to come back. I think it's such a missed opportunity if they do drop it, because there really are so many people who enjoy leagues, who want that streamlined, faster experience of old school RuneScape. And I hope they don't drop it, just because those people are just waiting to hear more soon. So this is a pretty sad day, I think, for a lot of people, especially for myself. And I just hope that I hope we get some more news, positive news soon. I don't want to completely be doom and gloom before an official announcement, but yeah, I'm hoping for something soon. Hopefully, you've also been excited for this. Let me know what you think, and hopefully, we can kind of make our opinion known, make our opinion clear that yes, this is something we want. Yes, this is something we're waiting for. We're just kind of waiting to hear more news. That's it for me, guys. Have a wonderful day, and I'll be hopefully back with some more information very soon on the topic.